Drift Island, the Iron Drift King podcast, hosted by Marcel Uhlig and Jacob Gettins.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Iron Drift King podcast. This episode is presented by Parts 33. If you are in Germany, even if you're outside of Germany, you're looking for drift parts or basically any parts to make your car go a little bit faster, head over to your browser, check out parts33.com, go shopping. I mean, might as well, right? It's everyone should be getting ready for racing season now anyways. And if you haven't started your build, if you haven't started updating your build, this is it. This is the time. This is your reminder. Go into the garage, get that going, because no one wants to be, the person rushing the day before the event. So, as always, my name is Jacob Gettins, and we've got Marcel back on. We're going to be chatting a little bit about the event, a couple more news items coming up, but overall, just chatting about the fan experience. If you've never been, or if you have been, we're going to kind of give you a rundown on what it's like to be a fan at Iron Drift King. So, Marcel, what's going on? How are your holidays, man?
Busy and also not so great, to be honest, because my whole family has been sick. Like the complete holidays. Yes. Yeah. We have there's a grudge, on us. Is it called grudge? Yeah, I think it's called grudge. Yeah. So, we had the same luck 2 years ago and now again. And, not the best way, but we had a really calm time, so that's great. It's a pretty hectic year, Every year is hectic in my life, in our family's life, so it's great to reset and just, get some energy, but not too long because that's also making me nervous.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like if I sit for, more than like 2 days, I'm just itching to go back and do something. Like even over the holidays, I'd be like sneaking away into my office to like go check emails and stuff like that, make sure I'm not getting behind. So I totally hear you on that, but that's good. I'm glad you got a little bit of time off.
Yeah, definitely. It's great. We have lots of snow because for the people that don't know, I am German, but my wife is Finnish and I actually do live in Finland most of the time.
Know that.
Yeah. And we have American, it's like minus 6 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's like minus 24 degrees Celsius, yes. And we have that already since a whole week, and it's fantastic.
I mean, the upside with that, though, is that means that ice drifting, ice racing, all that stuff is kicking off. Yeah.
Yes. It's pretty simple here in Finland. There's a lot of those tracks, and it's kind of unofficial thing that no one is really complaining. People take great care about the nature here, so no, all good. That's fantastic. I think it's like 10 minutes away from our home, and you are on the track and you can go shredding.
Yeah, I got absolutely. I did it a couple years ago, and then I got to go to Norway to ice drift with Simon Olsen, and that was just like life changing. I was like, cool, I'm in Norway. I'm out running with guys that run at the highest level. Jonathan Hurst came out as well. So it's like me, and admittedly, I'm not an amazing drifter, but like Simon in one car, me in another, and Jonathan, and we're like all banging doors. And like, this is nuts, but I'm hooked on ice drifting now. I gotta find a way to make it back.
It's great fun because you can go and go and go and go. It's like the limiting factor tire is not there.
Yeah, unless you start pulling the studs out of them, and then it's a whole other problem. Yeah, but that's good, man. I'm glad. Do you get to go out and race at all, or run the ice tracks?
Actually, not very often. After I stopped my active career, I really focused on Iron Drift King and business in general, and I spend my time more like in the summer, on the water, and big fishing guy over here. So I love that. That's my my counterbalance, to my life, I can say, being in peace on the water. But no, I don't. I just sold my race car to. I'm not allowed to say to who, but it's the son of a Formula One driver from the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, super coincidence. Yeah, super cool.
That's interesting. That's going to stir up some rumors. Yeah, I got a few ideas of who that could be, but that's sick, man. That's I mean, it sucks to sell a car at that level, but I mean, I could see you getting back into something maybe a little lower powered or a little easier to maintain.
Yeah, we started building something, and but I think you also need to make time for it. And that's what I couldn't justify, to run a full program or anything like that. But to be fair, I really would love to. I'm now 6 years out of the seat, and I would love to get back out there, but you also need to put your time in, and that's just something I think that's not really possible right now.
Yeah, at that level of car, you need to be practicing constantly, or it's not worth running a car at that level, if that makes sense. Very difficult to get into one of those like once a year and drive, because you spend that whole day just trying to remember how to drive a car, with that kind of horsepower. So. Yeah, I'd like to say I know the feeling, but I really don't.
But on the other hand, the good thing is that since I stopped driving myself, I can focus, really on creating a better future for drifting, and that was the mission from day one, and that's what we are doing. So I'm not exactly sad. I think I'm more involved. I'm more involved in drifting than I have ever been in my life. And now I have the chance to influence a lot of people with our work, so that's great.
Yeah, and it goes from being kind of selfish in drifting, right? Like where you're like, it's about me getting better, to then, being more generous and selfless with it, where you're like, okay, the same time it would take me into my program, I'm gonna work on developing and changing drifting, or developing new drivers, or, really trying new things, kind of seems to be the theme of Iron Drift King, especially going into this year.
Yeah, definitely. And I think just from the task point of view, it's like this is also the most fun, right? It's like doing always the same stuff is also boring at some point. And for anyone who ever created something in their life, they know that it's the biggest fun is to have that vision, that idea, and then and then make it happen. That's the biggest accomplishment you can have, at least for me. It has never been money or fame or anything like that. It's like, going through with your vision and making it reality, and that's great. I love that.
Well, and I think updating it too. Like how many, especially going back to cars, how many people do you know that have built a car once and then just never changed anything, right? It's like some of the most fun is like you build the car and then you're like, oh, I'm going to tweak this little thing and change this little thing, right? And then you constantly are developing it and seeing what's working better, what's not, how can you change it? Like we were talking just before the show, even my studio setup, like over the Christmas break, I tore down almost the whole thing and rebuilt it, because I'm like, oh, I can move these wires and change that. And, we ran into some technical issues getting started, and it's the same thing. It's like, I'm going to try something different. And then I'm like, okay, that's not working as well as I thought it would. But there's other parts now where it's way better. So yeah, I like tinkering. I like fixing and making something better than it was.
The same for me. I think the thing is, and to come back to Iron Drift King, is if you have a vision and idea, you don't know will it work out, right? But if you don't try, you will never figure it out. And and the great thing is that there's always room for improvement. There's always something you can do better. Just talking to people, getting also some other ideas, getting some other. How other people see that, and just listen to it. And there's so much you can do, and we're in a fantastic position to be able to provide so much to so many different people from so many different ways of life, and that's great. I love that.
Yeah, I say it a lot, where it's like if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always gotten, right? Like if you feel like you're not happy with the result of something, or you want that result to just improve, you have to change something in order for that to happen. So I know it's been really exciting learning, both on the show and off the show, and our conversations, and with, conversations of different people in the organization, to see even just the ideas coming out. Like whether or not they'll all get adopted, that's one thing or another, but just the ideas and how open everyone's been to like, okay, what about this? And then let's try this thing or that thing. Like, I don't know. I feel like you really took the chalkboard, wiped it clean, and you're like, okay, what if we forgot everything that we thought we knew about this, and like just try it from a different mindset?
That was actually pretty difficult for me in the beginning, because you're like, I'm not saying born into that, because drifting came later than when I was born, but I mean, like, you grow up, and you grow into a certain way of how it's done. And then you have an idea and you start doubting yourself, like, does this even work? We have never done it that way. No one has done it that way. And then you're like, yeah, but why not? I mean, what really stops us from doing that? The good thing here is we're not just taking chances. we have an idea and then we bounce it off, off each other, and we really try to figure out, is there anything here that could not work, and why would it not work, and then you start developing it. And I can say, man, I know the event is just in 7.5 months from now, but I'm so sure, so 110% sure that everything we plan will work out, because we work so extremely hard on it. And we have been turning, we say in Europe, I don't know if you say this in the USA, but like turning the metal,
Okay, I think I know what you mean.
You see all sides of it. So we really have been trying to figure out, is there any downside to it? And if can we correct it or not? Because we want to deliver the absolute maximum show, the absolute best race that anyone has seen out there, the best fan experience. We want to do the same for our partners, for the team, for the partners of the teams, for media, for the teams itself. Like we really want to deliver here, and we will deliver. Mark my words. And I'm telling you, I'm not saying that lightly, because I hate failing. Yeah. Definitely. That's something that sits deep with me, especially if I could have avoided it. And that's why we push here hard.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, you've been successful in everything else, and it's just like, okay, well, let's see what the next part is. Like, I do think in our conversations, like the focus is really on the fans and the drivers, right? And I know we covered a bunch in the last episode about the drivers, and there's still a lot more to talk about, which is great.
A lot, yes.
A lot more, yeah.
Yes.
But now we get to talk about the fan part, like the experience of being at the experience, right?
Yeah.
So what I mean, maybe what I'll do is like I'll talk about my experience there, because like it was really well organized, and as somebody who attends a lot of events, that's something I very much look at. So on my side of things, like when I came in to announce last year, what I thought was really neat is that a lot of like the check-in, the ticket stuff is kind of separate in a way where it's not crowded, but you have an area to be able to get all your information, get your tickets, get your passes. And then in some cases you could be transported in if you wanted to leave your car out so it didn't like congest a lot of stuff. Or depending on what your camping situation is, you could go and actually park in certain areas. And then I was lucky enough to get one of the cabins, which were sick. As much as I love camping, I'm now at a point where I'm like, I would much rather have a bed than an air mattress. So having that option available was great. Yeah. And then Mike, the other guy I was announcing with, him and I sat out on the porch and had a couple of drinks and got to, experience the camping, but more from a distance. And I didn't have to be, we didn't have to be like part of the party if I didn't want to be. But then later on, when the party did kick up, we were definitely, without getting into details, we were definitely a part of the party at that point. Yeah. So, it was, it was cool.
So the cabins you're talking about, we call them Drift Island premium cabins. So they're cabins for up to 4 people, and they're limited, of course. There's a limited amount available, and I can tell you already, there are not many available anymore, because that's something you're still pretty close, to the track. But you, if you don't want to sleep in your camper or in your tent or in your car, or you can. There's a million ways of camping, right? You can sleep in one of those, and you have electricity there. That's very important for lots of people. So that's a great thing, and I think it's a very different way of staying at a drift event. It's like you're on that half island surrounded by water, and then you're in this log cabin. So that's a really cool thing. There's not many available anymore. People really caught on to that.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make sure I get mine booked in soon, because I mean, as much as I love camping, I really appreciated just same thing, having the power, having that, and then kind of being close to the showers and stuff too. It was layout wise, it was great.
Yeah. So the whole idea with what you said, that the check-in, the check-in is, I think, around 2 kilometers away, from the actual track. But that's nothing. No one has to walk. So you arrive with your car, you park your car, you go with your ticket, you go to the check-in counter, you get your wristbands and everything. Depending, what kind of ticket you bought, you get different wristbands that allow you in different areas. And then you just go to the bus stop. you know, that's right next to it, and there's shuttle bus constantly circulating.
Yeah,
What's it called?
circulating.
Yeah, circulating, yeah. You
Yeah.
know, and in like just a few minutes, you're at the track and the main entrance. And from that point on, and that's so great, you're free to do what you would like to do, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, you cannot go into a production area, you know, but I mean, like, you can just freely walk around. You can choose where you want to sit, you know. There is no fixed seat or anything. So you have the chance to experience the track and you know, and the cars from different angles at the track. But of course, you know, the closer we get to sell the event out, the less, you know, free seats are available. But still, there's like no one has a booked seat there, you know, and that's great. You can walk through the paddock, of course. That's something that is absolutely mandatory in our eyes for the fan experience, and also for the interaction between, you know, teams and fans. You can go swimming. You know, I mean, where can you do that? I mean, we have beaches there. You know, there's music. You can have some drinks, and you can jump into the water because it's in August. It's definitely warm. You know, and you just go swimming. You know, take your backpack with a towel and some swimming clothes, and just go swimming and relax in between, and that's great. So you're not really. It's controlled, of course, you know, you have a controlled environment, but it doesn't really feel like it. You can spend your day freely. And that is one of the greatest things we believe, you know, because that's something that has that festival character. And that's what we were always aiming for. This, you go there and you just, you know, you click off your everyday life and you just have a fantastic time.
Yeah, it is great. The, you know, choose your own adventure, experience the event however you want to experience. Like, you know, you, as you said, like if there's, you know, nothing going on, or there's something going on that you're just like not as interested in, cool. You can, like you said, go down to the beach. There were people that are hanging out at the beach almost the entire weekend. Like there's, you know, like there were, I remember going down a couple times, and I'm like, you know, I was like, okay, these people are here. And then, you know, maybe I think it was like during the finals, then we saw them kind of come up and like, okay, cool. I came to see, you know, just the ending part, but the rest of the weekend I was hanging out with friends and having drinks and, you know, barbecuing or something. It's kind of neat that way that,
If you have the festival ticket, as we call it, that's like the weekend pass. You're in Thursday morning, 10 o'clock. You're allowed to enter, you know, and you have to leave Sunday at 12 a.m. Yeah, it's like lunch. Yeah, 12 a.m. You know, and so you have more than enough time to see everything, more than enough time to hang out with the drivers you want to hang out, to see the drivers you want to see, you know. We have multiple night events, so that means like the track is live, you know, at the night. I mean, anyhow, Saturday night, the finals will be in the dark, but also already on Thursday we have the night practice, you know, to get drivers used to how does it feel driving under the light, behind the car with all the smoke and the lights and stuff, to get them used to it. So you have all the time in the world to have a really, really good weekend and enjoy drifting in a fantastic setting.
Yeah, it is. I can't get over just what it looks like there too, especially with all the lights on the large machinery, and even just little stuff like where the screens were placed. That, like, depending on where you're sitting, you might only get, you know, 3 corners or something. But as soon as they loop around, you're able to see everything on the screen anyways. And then, I mean, there is a couple of spots where you can sit where you can see everything. And then if you really want to see the initiation, you can kind of go find a spot to really, you know, get up close to that initiation. So seating wise, it's pretty neat. And like, I mean, they're the same thing, similar with the beach. There were people that just like posted up, they put their chairs down, and that's where they sat from sun up till sundown.
There were people that did not move an inch.
No, they picked their seat early, and that was it. I think what was cool too, and we haven't even talked about this part. It was like the food, that like there's little huts basically of different styles of food all the way through, right? So you're not stuck with, just like, I mean, I don't know what's considered normal drifting food in Germany, but like, it's not just like a hamburger and French fries. Like I think there was like empanadas, there was pierogies at one spot.
Yeah, they had like this they call it Handbrot. It's basically like self-made bread, filled with different cheese and vegetables and stuff, or meat and some sour cream on top. And the food there is absolutely great, really.
Yeah. No, it was. I mean, I definitely didn't go hungry at any point in time. That's for sure. I think I hit almost every single food stand that was there, and then someone had soft serve ice cream, which is like, that's going to get me every time. So
yeah, me too. Yeah,
yeah. I try to stay healthy when I travel, but man, it's not easy.
No, it's not easy. Not at all. Definitely not. Yeah.
That's sick. So is there any other, like, is there any changes that are coming, or is it kind of that same experience?
Yeah.
That I had last year?
One of the new things we're having is we call it festival ticket super camp. So what does that mean? We're going to move the paddock to a different location. That is also connected to the track layout change that we talked last time. And so now you're able, and that's limited to just 300 people, that festival ticket super camp. So what it includes is you're basically camping at the track. I mean, like at the track. Okay, so you cannot get closer 24/7 than that camp. So that's I mean, how many meters is it? 5, like 5 to the paddock. It's super close. Of course, it will be closed, by some barriers and security and stuff. But you are able to camp really close, and that's limited to just 300 tickets, and it includes also one of those caps. The caps are limited to every year's edition, and we had lots of not complaints, but sad people that they didn't get one, and if you want to have one, you have to buy one of those tickets because it includes that very limited cap. And if you're one of the super fans, just get one of those super camp tickets, and you will be extremely close the whole weekend.
That's cool. Yeah, I think that's awesome. I've done a couple of different, like drifting festivals, and like you can kind of decide, do you want to wake up to the sound and smell of drifting, right? Like for me, that's like one of the coolest experiences where it's like, you're up partying late last night, and then you wake up and you can just hear cars going by, and it's like you unzip your tent, pop your head out, and there's a racetrack right there of guys going by. Like that's great. It's for me the same. It's like I get instantly nervous if I hear engines idling, in the morning. I'm like, okay, and let's go. And my wife is like, okay, can you calm down a little bit? No, I cannot. Now everyone put their shit together, just brush your teeth and let's go. Let's go. Well, I think it's like, it kind of gives you that same experience. Like, so people listening to this, whether you've drifted or not, there is something on a multi-day drifting event that if you're driving or you're helping out with a friend, where most of the time you are, kind of camping in your pit space, in that paddock space. And usually that paddock space is very close to the track, right? So there is this thing where, let's say there's a driver's meeting at 8 a.m. and then the track goes hot at 9, you a lot of the times wake up to the sounds of cars idling or guys starting to wrench. And it's this very weird feeling where you're just connected with all the drivers. So this sounds like it gives you that opportunity to have that same feeling without having to be a driver or part of the team. You get to kind of live that same life as a professional driver, but not have to worry about, maintaining a car or dealing with all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just the upsides, not the downsides. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's all the best parts of being part of a race team without any of the hard work.
Yeah, but that was the intention, exactly, to give a very small group of people, with just 300 tickets, to give them the experience of a lifetime, to be able to, if you really love drifting, and you're cool with camping, then that's for you, definitely. You will wake up because, no, I cannot say, I'm not allowed to say that. Almost said something.
Okay.
But you you will wake up to the sound of the cars passing by. Let's just say it like this. Not racing by, but but
Yeah.
passing by. Yeah, so that will be really cool. Another thing that we are going to do this year is because there's of course people that don't want to camp, they don't want to be in a cabin or anything. They want to sleep in a hotel. And Ferropolis as that island, so it's called Ferropolis for everyone who doesn't know. Ferropolis is a little bit in the countryside, So the bigger hotels are like 15-20 minutes away driving, and we listened to fans that said that, hey, it would be somehow great, if there would be like a shuttle for that, because a lot of especially international fans, they would like to have German beer. And that's a simple fact, And even if they have a rental car, they don't want to drive it because they want to drink a few beers. So it will be possible. It's not online yet, but we're working on it right now. It will be possible that if you book your hotel room, shuttle will be included. That means like in the morning you get picked up with the bus from the hotel. They bring you to the event, and in the evening they bring you back, and it will be included in your hotel price.
Damn, that's nice. Okay.
Yeah, because that's something that seems that has been an issue, for a lot of international fans, and they didn't really know how to get back and forth. And it was an easy fix. Some things just have to be mentioned and have to be present. And we said that, hey, that's great, because we all know the hustle of who's going to drive. No one wants to do that, So you just hop to the bus, you have your hotel breakfast, go to the bus, go to the track, have a great day, and at the end of the day, you just drive back, and no one has to worry about nothing.
That's sweet. No, it's good. That solves. I mean, that allows more people to really enjoy their entire time there. I will say I'm not much of a beer person, which I think might kind of go against the whole German side. But I did get to have a couple of German beers, and I get it now. I think I've just been drinking crap beer most of my life. I think that's the issue.
I'm not going to advertise German beer now here, but.
That's what we need. We need a German beer sponsor.
I think it's not the worst, right? So. Yeah. No, definitely. But I feel it's part of this drifting culture. I'm not saying alcohol is part of it. I'm saying that do what you would like to do during that day is part of that culture, right?
Right.
And that's so important. And we feel we don't want to limit that. There's like no reason, Of course, if someone is misbehaving because of his, whatever he has been drinking drinking, we will make sure that this person will not disturb anyone else there. But still, you should just have a good time. And so far, we are very lucky with everyone coming there, and I'm super grateful for that. So everyone allows us to just have a good time, and run a really good event and make the most out of it for every single person there.
Yeah. No, like I said, I've been singing the praises of the event since I've been there. I mean, it's definitely a great time, and it's a cool layout. And, as much as things can be kind of spread out, the upside with it too is it allows you to kind of be where you want to be. If you want to be somewhere where it's loud and partying, awesome. If you want to hang out with just a couple friends in a quieter area, you can go and do that. Like there are definitely festivals that I've been to where you're kind of in the chaos all the time, where whether you want to be or not, it's always loud. There's always something going on. And for me, I enjoy the chaos to a point, but I also, at the end of the day, still want to be able to relax and not have to worry about how crazy things are. So exactly. That separation helps with that. So yeah,
100%. I mean, like the whole the schedule for the 2024 Iron Drift King is built around fan experience, 100%.
Right.
So you will see definitely lots of driving. Yeah, that's a fact. That's what everyone wants. But there will also be time made for you as a spectator and as a fan, to do something else. There will be time to get really close to the drivers, and because that's something that is so important for both sides. A lot of the interaction between a fan and the team is online, right? And especially in Iron Drift King, it's so international. Like I don't know. I think we have in the application so far 45 different nationalities. It's like it's crazy. Yes, from absolutely everywhere. Really, and that's so great because we're going to have a fantastic lineup of drivers, and we have already like almost 3 times the applicants that we have spots, and we have still 4 weeks in the application, process. So it will be very, very tricky to choose. But I can tell already now, we have some all-time favorites getting their cars out of the shed for that event. This I can already promise. I was so happy to read those names, really. So, and because they felt this is worth their time, and so that's really, really good for everyone. And there will be time, to talk to those people. Of course, we will have autograph sessions. That's like a given thing, but it's not in every European event. As we talked last time, it's something that is ignored, very often, and that's weird to us. So we will have those. We will have question and answer sessions. That's also something that a lot of people, I think, are a bit scared sometimes to approach the teams. Or are a bit too careful. Let's not call it scared, but there's absolutely no reason. So if you are coming to the Iron Drift King, please go to the drivers, talk to them, talk to their teams. They're there for you, and you are there for them, and together you can have the best weekend of the year. I can promise that. So do not be worried. Just go up to the drivers, talk to them, ask them what you would like to know. And because of the concept we are running, with the no qualification, we will have a lot of really relaxed and happy people there, especially amongst the teams. So everyone will be more than open to answer your question. Ask if you can sit in the car. I've never heard anyone say no, except they were just on the way to track. That is so like 2023. We have been at the event, and one of my friends has never been. It's a lady, and she has never been, and she was able to sit in one of the guys' cars and ref it. She started crying. She instantly started crying because it's like she never felt that, and the raw power that a drift car has. You can feel it just sitting in it and reffing it. And most of those cars have like 900 to over 1,000 horsepower, and you feel that, of course. And she started instantly crying. It made me so happy to see that it doesn't do this just to me, as a fan. So for such a long time, no, it does it to absolutely everyone. And that is so cool. We had so many people at the Iron Drift King last year that have never seen drifting before, and I had the chance to talk to them, and everyone was so blown away what those drivers are able to do with their cars. It's like they almost couldn't understand why anyone would be ready to risk their super expensive car, in that kind of way, because this is what drifting is, right? There's a lot of risk involved, especially for the car, and they were so grateful that they got that kind of show, It sounds weird when I say that, and it sounds like made up, but it's not. That were the real emotions. They were so happy about what they were able to see, and that they really couldn't believe that this is existing.
Well, I think we get the term's jaded. I don't know how that translates, but like we get so used to drifting being a part of it all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like for you and I, this is. I don't want to speak too much on your behalf, but I know for you, it's been your life for 10 plus years, significantly longer. For me, it's been, about 10 years. Like, we forget what it's like to experience a drift event for the first time, or what it's like to experience a pro level car for the first time, or whatever. Yeah. And it's cool. And one of my favorite things to do is to bring people to drift events that have never been, and like show them around and be like, this is what it's like. This is what the car is like. Try and get them, like into the car and like the non-competition events to like, go for a ride along. Like that is life altering for so many people. And I think, if you're listening to this and, it's been a while, remember what that event was like, that first event. Because we all know, if you're into drifting, we all know where we saw it first. We all remember our first ride along. We remember the first time we went out driving, and like, remember how happy you felt, and try and push that to somebody else. Like, bring somebody out to the event. If you're coming to the event, talk somebody that's never been into drifting into coming to the event, right? That's it. It's so simple. Like it's a conversation I have with people all the time, with event organizers, with people, and they're like, how do we get this to grow? we need to incentivize people to invite people out that have never been. That's it. Like, that's the biggest thing. I got my cousin hooked. Now, he was never into racing, had no interest in racing whatsoever. He lived 30 minutes from a racetrack that had drifting almost every weekend. And I told him, like, I'm going to go out to that event and I want you to come. Now he's bugging me to be like, when are you coming again? When? And he's gone to events when I haven't even been there, just to go and hang out. He doesn't even drive. He just goes and watches. It's not competition. It's just a grassroots event.
Yeah.
And but it's so addicting, right? There's no motorsport like it.
100%. It's, I mean, the reason why I got into that was that one of my friends, started it, and I don't know if I said it last time, but I actually did hill climb racing. That was my entry motorsport, and I went to one drift event. Have been on the passenger seat, and Matthias, my friend who was driving, it was his first event, so it was nothing like whoa crazy, but I don't know, I cannot really describe how it felt, but it felt like, oh my God, this is how a car can move, like, and you can do that, you're allowed to do this, like I was so blown away. I called my friends that were, in my team. It was a hobby, right? But it's like, I called them and I said, we are going to sell the Evo. It was an Evo 6 Tommy Mäkinen edition that I had, really, really cool. I'm so sad that I sold it, man. I can tell you that, but I said, we're going to sell the Evo. And we're going to start drifting, man. We stopped instantly, and I bought 4 days after. I bought a Nissan Skyline R33.
Crazy.
Like, it did something to me that, and it never let me go. Obviously, that's why we are here right now, right? It's man. We're not overdoing it. That is not fake. That is real emotion, and I mean, the company that does our taxes, they were this year the first time there, and they're not into racing. They don't do anything like this.
Yeah, they're tax people.
And before it was over, the owner of the tax office said, "Okay, come on, I want to do this again. Please send me the tickets for next year." This is what drifting does to people. And if you see it in a setting like the Iron Drift King, you will not be disappointed. And that's a guarantee. You can't. I don't know. I never met anyone who has been there and said that, nah, that was not worth the money, or that was not cool. No, no, absolutely not. This is such a great place.
I think going back to the driver interaction part too, like that is something that's so unique to drifting in a lot of ways, where there are other motorsports where they have open pits and open paddocks, but it's open to a point. It's not open to the point of like when the track goes cold, the drivers are sitting around, having dinner, having a couple of drinks, where you can still just walk up and have a conversation. Like, they're all regular people. I think that's something that we always forget. We put them on a pedestal because of the things that they're able to do with a car. And I still believe they deserve a lot of respect and admiration because they're doing impossible things with vehicles. But at the end of the day, most of them have, families and day jobs and things that they do, and they're just people, right? We forget that they're just people, and you can go up and just hang out and have a conversation. I mean, that's one of my favorite things to do at any drift event, is just go and meet drivers that I don't know and I've never talked to before. And, up until last year, most of them would have no idea who I was. And it was great because I'm just like, I like what you do and let's talk about that.
And they're simple. More than happy to talk about what they're doing.
They love talking about it. Like, usually it was me wanting to leave because I'm like, okay, I want to go meet somebody else. I'm like, no, let's keep talking about this, right? Yeah,
it's their passion. It's their passion, and they give it absolutely everything they have, right?
Yeah,
it's they put all their time, all their money, and everything in it, and that is why you basically cannot be disappointed as anyone coming to the Iron Drift King, because those guys, we have guys that are now, I think, 4,000 kilometers away, one way driving,
Jesus.
That's like nuts. And they're coming there to deliver a show for you guys, and that's, man, it's so great. Drifting is such a great community, and it's the vibe and the lifestyle is so great. There's a really hardworking people to make sure everyone has a good time on that weekend, and that leads me also to one of the aspects we have been changing. We talked last time that we're not going to have a qualification, right? And so at least not a qualification on track with cars. And the sole purpose of that was to take off the pressure, a little bit of the drivers. So all 64 drivers that are coming are qualified for the top 64 automatically. But the position in the bracket, the starting position or your battle position, is not decided until every single fan who wants to be part of that is going to vote. So people that are at the event on Thursday afternoon, evening. So after some practice, you can go to the teams and vote physically. You're going to get a coin that you're going to use, and throw it in a what is it called? The box. Pallet?
Like a ballot box? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ballot box?
Yeah.
No, go
I cannot do. I think I say it wrong. Is it pallet or ballot?
Ballot box. Yeah, B.
Okay.
Yeah.
B. Okay, yes. You throw it in the ballot box, so you can show your appreciation to that team and to that driver, physically, and that creates fantastic moments. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And that, of course, so the more votes you get, the more coins you collect, the higher you would qualify. But of course, we don't want to cut out the fans that cannot make it to the event, for whatever reason. So there will be an app existing that you can use to vote for your favorite driver or the driver you want to see high up in the qualification order. Right. And so we do this to create those special bond between fan and team. We do this to create interactions. We want to make that fan driver experience even bigger and closer. We don't want to create a bigger distance between them, because that's as you said, it's one of the last motorsports in the world, that is done on a professional level, where you can actually talk to the drivers and talk to the teams and ask, hey, even if you're not interested in the driver, maybe you're interested in the technical side and you're able to talk to the head mechanic or, one of the engineers and stuff. That is so cool. You can ask, how did you do this? And you actually get an answer, and and all that is so important. And that's why we are focusing so much for this year, on that aspect, that there's many, many chances for you to make sure that you can show your appreciation, and the drivers have the chance to activate their fans, to animate them and do whatever they have to get that extra vote, to be able to qualify higher. But just to clarify that, because I've seen that in some of the comments that was not clear, everyone is qualified.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure the drivers are doing their best, to interacting with you guys, with the fans.
Yeah, I think it's cool to kind of have that reward that goes with it too, because it helps the drivers for sure. And I think the biggest thing is it makes fans, have something to cheer for. Especially if you don't know all the drivers, right?
Yeah.
For me, I had to learn a lot of the drivers last year very quickly. Right? I was like, okay. And for me, it's somebody who loves research. It was like, oh, awesome. I get to learn about all these people I've never heard of or I know very little of. And I think for some fans, they can cheer for somebody who's representing their country, which is phenomenal. The World Juniors of hockey were just on. Unfortunately, Canada did not do very well.
Okay.
but I got to cheer. Germany actually had a really, really cool outing. They moved up a level. Anyways, but I got to cheer. I will always divert to hockey.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I got to cheer, for my fellow countrymen. I didn't know most of the players, but I in a similar situation, that's an easy vote for me. So for people who have somebody who represents their country, awesome. And if you don't have somebody who represents your country, you now can choose somebody who maybe has a vehicle that's similar to yours, right?
Yes.
Or you can a livery that you like, or just a personality, or maybe they did something really cool on social media, and then you were able to get it that way. I think that's what's neat is now we get to see, just a bigger attachment to a driver, right? Right
Yes.
away. If you had no knowledge of who they were.
And in some form, I think it's also paying respect to what they're doing for you, because it's like I have to repeat it again of how how much they're doing, to make sure that everyone who bought a ticket has a great time. They deserve every respect, and that voting process, it's kind of also a way for a fan and a spectator to show that, hey, I support what you're doing. I want to see you doing well on that weekend, and it can be whatever reason. We had one of the guys. We are allowed to say names here, right?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Yes, Joachim Andersson from Sweden, and he's a Drift Masters driver now. And at that time, the 2018, the first time Iron Drift King, he had a Mercedes, and now don't name it, the W124, I think, series, or 123. It was a station wagon, old school. And people absolutely loved it. He gained so many fans in this one event. It was the first time, I think, for him in Germany at this time, and he got so many new fans. I mean, the Germans, like Mercedes, Germany, it connects, and they absolutely loved that he used the Mercedes, for drifting, and it was this old school station wagon, and it absolutely got them, and he did really well. He won the Pro 2, race on this weekend, and so whatever it is. That gets you, but there's so many details that can connect you to a single team or a driver.
Yeah, I mean, I will always cheer for anybody drifting anything diesel immediately, like the black smoke racing guys.
There are not many, unfortunately. Yeah. There's not many. Yeah.
They're not easy to drift. As somebody who has drifted diesel a couple of times, it's not easy, but it's different. It's cool. And for me, I can connect to that. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to, no matter how good or bad you're going to do, I'm going to cheer for you because you're doing something that I really enjoy.
Yeah. It's Teemu Peltola, I think the most famous diesel drifter on the planet, I would call it. Yeah, he had a really good time. I mean, he broke his engine,
Yeah,
and completely. He sold off every single piece of his engine to fans that were there.
Yeah,
it's so great. And those moments, that's what we're talking about, and we will make actively time for exactly those things, so you can, I don't know, create memories. That's what life is all about, right? That is what it's at. And it's like, just be there, go home and have a head full of memories that you hopefully never forget.
Yeah. I have a black smoke racing hat from that weekend. Because I chatted with them a bit before, just because we both drifted diesel cars before. Yeah. I had questions for them years ago, and then I finally got the opportunity to go and see them. And I similar. That's what's so cool, is that these are people that I had been chatting with online, that I'd commented on stuff for years. And then I finally got the opportunity to meet them and hang out with them. And then I ended up seeing them again at SEMA in Las Vegas. And it was just I'd only met them once ever in person, but then I saw them in Vegas, and it was like we were friends for 10 years. We're hugging each other. How's it going?
Yes. That is something I think many people don't know, who haven't been involved in drifting. It's like they're not arrogant stars, or I'm not saying a star. I'm not saying a celebrity is arrogant, but because they get shielded off, so much, they have a natural distance, to non-celebrities, and drifters are not like that. No matter what level, they all just like to interact. They all have a good time, presenting what they're doing, and just go there and have a great time, man. It's
it's wild how open the drivers are.
Yes.
It's just, and they want to talk about it. We talked about the mechanics side of it, where it's if you have a car that's similar to one of these drivers, you can go ask them specifics about how they set things up. There might be a couple of secrets that they're always going to keep, because the competition side. But for the most part, they can tell you, I run these parts, with these companies. This is how I fix this problem. If you're into drifting at all, this is, especially with how much you guys are really pushing that driver and fan interaction. If you've ever wanted to learn more about drifting, or even just further your knowledge about a car that you're building, this is a phenomenal opportunity to do that, because you're going to get an opportunity to ask those questions.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So I would like to go in a few more things, that you can expect when you're there as a fan or as a spectator. So for the first time, we're going to do a drift taxi. So that means we built a 4-seater 5 Series BMW. We are building that right now. It's the most over-engineered 5 Series drift taxi you have ever. I can guarantee that, man. It will be so cool. It will be so cool, and free guests have the chance in the same moment, to go on track and experience what the drivers, otherwise exclusively can experience. We're not going to do this with the drivers itself because they have enough strain, or how do you call it? It's difficult enough for them to go through a race weekend. It's very exhausting, and very demanding, and we want to do them. We want that they do well. So that's why we built, a purpose-built car for exactly that. So you can buy a ticket for it, and just go on track. If you no, nothing. That was a wrong information. Sorry. No, nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's something we have never done before, and that's something people were asking, for the longest time, and now we say, okay, we figure out a way that you can experience what a driver can experience, and it's safe to say, if you see that wall coming close, and you have many chances on that track, if you see that coming close, dangerously close, because even 3 meters feels like you're in the wall, because visually that's like just what it feels like. And so that's something you will never, ever forget. Yeah, there will be lots of smiling faces, definitely.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Ride-alongs are especially if you've never done it, to just be on a track that these drivers are driving on, it's life-changing.
Yes. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We will create a lot of new grassroots drifters on that weekend. It's always like this, right? It's like, have been one-time passengers like, okay, I need to do that. I need to find a way to do that myself. Another thing we talked briefly last time. We did it first time last year's event. We did it with the VIP ticket holders. So if you're a VIP ticket holder, you have included a track walk. So you can go on track and get explained, what it's all about, what you have to do at which point, why is it important, and for the first time we also have this now for every ticket holder who doesn't have a VIP ticket, so they can buy that, and they can they're not going with me or with anyone random. No, they will walk on track with a driver that is actually participating in the competition, and hear from them what it feels like to be on the start line and then get the green light, and have to go, and you have all those walls, and it's very intimidating from time to time, definitely, And I can just say from experience from last year, people that I did that with, they were blown away, because even if you think a lot of stuff, if you hear it from a professional, if you hear it from someone who has been driven that track, and on that weekend especially, that is a completely different perspective, and to be able to stand on the same level, because Ferropolis, as we talked, is structured that the track is on, let's say, sea level, and then you have the grandstands built around that. So you always watch down a little bit, but then you're standing down there and you see, how high the walls are, and you see all those colored marks on the concrete walls from all the different cars there. Like it's great. It is really, really good. And what most people, have never seen before is how much rubber is on the surface, how thick it is actually, and it was a fantastic experience, and I can just highly recommend that to absolutely everyone who's interested in this. And you're doing a good thing also for the drivers, because that money will be divided by the drivers, who have done that. So we want to give back, both sides, to the fans and also to the drivers, definitely.
That's super cool. I mean, it gives you an opportunity to have that time with the driver that you look up to, or somebody you've been interested in. And I think too, for anybody that's trying to just become a better driver, because that's always the weird thing I've always found with people who drift. They're like, oh, I don't want to go to an event, I'm not driving. And it's such a very short-sighted mentality, because you should be going to those events to meet those drivers, ask them those questions. And with a track walk, if you want to get better, there is no better way to do that than to ask somebody who is, better than you are about how they would drive a track that is incredibly difficult. You could ask all the specifics. Okay, are you left foot braking here? Are you e-braking here? How are you keeping the car in boost during this initiation? you can get into those specifics, right?
Yeah, and that's like cool. I think for anyone who has not been in the position of a driver, you know, like on the track layout we're going to have for this year, like the initiation line and the first zone and the second zone, this is something, it's so far away visually, you know, when you're standing there with your own feet and you see that, okay, and you're supposed to estimate how fast you do this, so you're not going into the wall, but you have to basically scrape the wall. Like, how is this even possible? You know, like it's almost superpower stuff there that those drivers are doing there. It's so incredibly difficult to position a car at maximum speed, maximum angle, maximum style to, you know, to just be where they have to be, especially for the lead car. And that's incredible stuff, definitely. And it gives you a very different, I think people appreciate what those drivers do even more when they have been standing on the same surface they are driving on.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it, is just a deeper understanding and a deeper respect of how difficult this is. I mean, even for me over the last couple of years, like, I always knew it was hard, but some of the experiences that I've had, it's just like, oh, I didn't realize it was that hard. Like, you guys make it look very easy, and, you know, just go watch like in-car footage and see like how difficult it is. And I mean, even like you said, the drift taxi ride along, like, go understand how fast it is, or you know, how scary it is to be sideways at a wall that's not going to move. That if you screw up, that's it. Like, that car is done.
And to do this over and over and over again, you know.
Yeah.
And then you get a very, very good feeling for how much control those guys have over this absolutely out of control vehicle. You know, it's really, really great. And as you know, in Ferropolis, the great thing is that if you walk that track and you're standing at the concrete barrier, and then you look 1 meter further, you know, behind the barrier, this is where you can stand. You know, because as I said last time, those walls are FIA grade, the fences are FIA grade. They're all connected and bolted together. One of those elements is 4 tons heavy, and so nothing is going to move. And so Ferropolis is, I think, the only drifting track in Europe where you can basically stand right behind the barrier. It's 1 meter, let it be 1 meter 20, but you're so damn close. You're so damn close, and the experience when the cars are shredding along that,
just it's like a wave, like that wave of heat and smoke and tire that like hits you as they come over. Like,
yes,
it's unlike anything you've ever experienced. And like,
honestly, I would say so, right?
Yeah, it's that close. Like, I for anybody listening who didn't know, like, I used to shoot video for Formula Drift teams for a number of years. Like, the only way you would normally get that close is if you did that job, if you were somebody who was on the media side, because that's the only way you would ever be able to get that close. But at this layout, at this event, you get that same experience. So like, you know, and if you want to take pictures, like, there's no event where you're going to be able to like take pictures that way without having, you know, to be a media person.
Yes,
you're
exactly.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just, it's so unique. And oh man, I have a picture hanging up there, you know, from the position of the start line. It's hanging behind the camera, basically. You cannot see it. And when I look at that, it is such a special place. Such a special place, and especially when it gets dark, you know, and we get all the lights on, and I can promise a massive, 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 I call it now show, but it will be very special what we're going to present, you know, during the top 16 or top 16 presentation this year. We will not disappoint. Everyone will get their endorphin levels up. I can guarantee that. No, really, it's man, I have such a good time planning that. Yeah. Because I know how many people will be happy with what we're going to do, and how great time, you know, they're going to have. It's fantastic, definitely.
Nice, that's awesome. Yeah. Is there any other like changes? I know there's one that I mean I think you've already acknowledged it and talked about it on the website, which is the tire companies, which I thought was interesting.
Yes. Do you want to get into it now? Yeah.
I mean, we can hold it for the next episode if you really want.
I would say so, because I think it's a special topic, you know.
Okay.
And it's a technical one, and the reasoning behind it. So I would hold on to it for one of the next episodes. We're going to talk about so much more. We're going to talk about judging. That will be a huge part. I can tell you the judging panel we are having. I absolutely love it. It's so cool to have those 5 guys, you know, being part of that, and being able to create a way of judging that in a perfection that hasn't been seen. You know, because and that's not marketing. No, it's again not marketing. We push so hard, and I made sure, you know, when we made sure who is going to be on the judging panel, that everyone understands, if you're going to be part of that, you're going to work for it to make sure this is a different way of judging, you know, a better way of judging, and a more understandable way, definitely.
Yeah, I know a few of them. I don't know all of them, but just the few that I know, it's going to be pretty awesome, and I think it's going to make for some very good introspection as to what we look for in drifting, because the judges come from very different backgrounds, very different experiences, but they're all insanely knowledgeable when it comes to drifting as a sport, which is going to be great.
Yes, yes. Lots of them have been pioneers in what they were doing, you know, and I'm very much looking forward to work with them, you know, and to develop something that is special, and that is canceling out all the negativity, you know, that we have in judging, because that is a very hard job they have to do. They have very limited time, but I don't want to get into it now, because
we're just teasing it. We're getting people hooked, man.
We can fill a full episode with that, definitely. So just to run down quickly, what else is there? So as I said, we have the autograph sessions. We have, of course, an after party on Saturday. So if everything you have done on that weekend is not enough, you can also have a party until Sunday morning or I don't know. So no one will be disappointed. Of course, we will have different companies there, you know, presenting their stuff. Most of them will be partners, of course, for the event, and they will have also drivers there that are going to do some autograph sessions at the booth, you know, at the vendor. So you can get close to some of the stuff that the guys are running in their cars, you know, and see what it's all about, talk to the companies and why they do what they do, and see if that's also for you, you know. There's definitely parts that you would like to have in your car, and there's something you can touch that and check it out. There will be car show, you know, definitely again. That's something very important, I think, and it's a good balance to the race car to have some street cars that are barely legal, you know, because that's so difficult now in Europe to build anything that's cool and legal. So so that would be really great to have some people presenting their pride and joy. Man, it's there's lots of stuff to get into it, but I think we covered it pretty well. You know, it's be there. Have a good time, and I also before I forget it, I want to say thank you for the support so far. You know, tickets are selling very fast. We're very, very happy about that. So obviously, you believe that this is a great thing, you know, to be at. We get fantastic support from all over the world for what we are doing, and we make sure we deliver. I can promise that.
Yeah. So I mean, I think really to wrap it up, like, no matter what your experience level is like or your interest level of drifting is, whether you are somebody who's never been to a drift event before, or you are an absolute diehard or even a competitor, I mean, I would hope too that maybe some of the drivers that don't get the opportunity to actually drive it still come out. And I really do think they will. I mean, there's something for everything. If you want to be sitting next to the track all day and taking in everything that it has to offer, or if you want to hang out at your campsite or go for a swim, like, that's the coolest part, is that no matter how much of the event or how much drifting you want to experience, there is something there for you to experience. And that's really my favorite part about the whole thing, is just, there's always something to do.
There's nothing to add.
Cool. Well, for everybody listening or watching, go grab your tickets now. They are going quick, especially if you want a cabin or you want one of those super cool, real close to the action passes. I'm super pumped. I'm super pumped, and hopefully everybody else listening is. Please make sure to subscribe. Keep an eye out for this. As we've already talked about, we're going to get into all the tires. You can start, rumor mills now. Go check out the website. Those tire companies are up there now, so you can get your thoughts together before we explain it all. We'll definitely do one specifically on judging, and maybe let us know what drivers you want to see out. Maybe we'll try and get them on the show. Lots of stuff. But Marcel, thanks for another awesome episode. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Thank you. I had a really good time, and I could have talked 2-3 more hours about the emotions I have, being at the event. And no, man, it's I'm happy that we have the chance to chat about it.
We'll have to do one at the event. I think you and I are going to have to do one at the event. We'll have to find 20 minutes and do a quick podcast.
Absolutely. Sick. Yeah, let's do that.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you so much, Jacob, and see you soon.
I'll see you soon.
Drift Island, the Iron Drift King podcast, hosted by Marcel Uhlig and Jacob Gettins.